No?
Okay, Madam Clerk, we're going to call a council meeting to order for May 15th, 2025. Pledge, please.
Please stand for the pledge.
Oh, you did?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, you got the notice today.
Roll call. Councilman Asbill.
Present.
Councilman Buddy.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Ricks.
Present.
Mayor Baudier.
Present.
Police Chief Laprie. Present. Fire Chief St. Cyr is absent. Finance Director Todd Turnion is absent. City Attorney Scott Stansberry. Present. Myself, Carrie Hustis, Clerk, is present. Mayor's announcements.
No mass announcements. Madam Clerk, proceed with the agenda.
Okay, we have no special presentations. Approval of minutes. Reading of the minutes of the council meeting on April 17th, 2025.
We have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes from the council meeting on April 17th, 2025. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain. We have a second by Councilman Asbill to approve those, to approve those minutes. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. I'm sorry, that was dispense with the reading of the minutes. I'm sorry. Madam Clerk.
Approval of the minutes of the city council meeting on April 17th,
All right,
2025.
we'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak for or against approval of those minutes? No one coming forward. We'll close public hearing. All in favor to approve those minutes by, motion by Councilman Ricks, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk.
Okay, communications. So we have some planning and zoning board resignations. The ones that I have confirmed are going to be Lane Macaluso, Gwen Grilletta, and Michelle Canamar. They're resigning from the planning and zoning board.
So where does that leave us? If
We have
Are we down
three-
6 at the moment?
So we have 3 open seats.
3 after these
No,
resignations?
this 3 with these resignations.
Okay, good.
So is it 5? Is 3 total open seats?
Who are the 5? Who do we have on the board right now?
Let me pull it up. So we have Darlene Manson's on there.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Darlene Manson. We have Nate Laprie,
Hey,
Dennis Hoffman. He didn't confirm or deny one way or the other, but he's on the board. You have Linda Canamar.
No, Domain.
Domain, I'm sorry. Domain, Linda Domain. And then Pat Peppo.
so you only need 2 more. Because you have
I
7.
thought we had 9 for
Up
this.
to 9.
It's up to 9?
Up to 9.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, all right. So we could put 4 more people on. Okay, all right.
Pat McDaniel, is he? He's on the Board of Adjustments?
Yeah, he's on the Board of Appeals.
Okay.
Okay.
Does anybody know the reason that
feel
they're
like
all
there's one more.
resigning?
Several personal
Yes.
reasons, yeah.
Several personal reasons?
We want
Lane has become a city attorney, one of the city attorney of the city of
prosecutor.
Wayne just can't get it in no more. Michelle's having health issues.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You're the man.
Do y'all have to vote on that, or we just move
I
on?
think we just move on.
Okay.
But I guess there's 4 openings with 2 nominations that we're considering tonight, right?
I think there are 3 nominations.
3.
3 nominations?
3 nominated, 2
There will be
people here
3.
tonight.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm moving on to resolutions. Proposed resolution number 2025-5. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Harahan to renew the cooperative endeavor agreement with Joseph P. Lapinto III, designating him as the ad valorem tax collector for the city of Harahan.
Okay, anyone want to speak on proposed resolutions 2025-5? Please come to the podium. No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Just confirm this is the same agreement as last year, no change?
Yes, there's no change. It's just another 2-year renewal.
Got it.
So I have another question. With Councilman Asbill beat me to that one.
Nope.
This agreement 2 years ago provided for the $3 per household plus the collection of other items, and I think they charge us about $12,000 basically to get us in their system. Are they charging us $3 a month? Do you know, Carrie?
It's $3 a parcel.
Per parcel.
Yes.
Okay, so they're not charging us anything else monthly or at the end
Nope.
of the year?
Nope.
Great, thank you.
Move to approve.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to approve, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas and 0 nays. Madam Clerk?
Okay, proposed resolution 2025-6. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Harahan approving, confirming, and ratifying the agreement with Linfield Hunter and Junius Incorporated for FP&C project number 50-MC1-24-01 from Monroe Street improvements.
This is, we'll open for public hearing on proposed resolutions number 2025-6. No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion?
I have a few questions.
Same
Can-
here.
What is the funding for this?
This is the FP&C the $4,705,000 we got.
Okay, well, then that begs the next question. We signed a contract with Linfield, which basically was for Wilson. We've got an existing contract with them that doesn't include Monroe Street. So are we terminating?
We're not. We should have two at this moment, one for streets and then one for sewer. Is that correct, Harry? We should be into two different contracts with Adams and Reese. I'm sorry, Nathan.
So the one y'all signed before was for,
Wilson Street.
yes.
So Wilson is actually a part of a sewer project.
No, Tim, I critiqued that, and we made changes to it, but, so I'm a little familiar with, but it was basically Wilson Street. I don't think it was Monroe Street at all.
So what happens is with the year after, we got you calling it Wilson Street, but the year after, that's a part of the sewer rehabilitation, $4,705,000. This is a part of the $1.5 million that we got the year after. So I'm sorry, I need to stand corrected. This is for a whole nother different
Okay.
revenue source. I'm lying to you.
1.5 million.
I'm sorry.
This is for street paving.
This is
For street paving.
Okay, all right. So
I am
it's
so sorry,
not,
Mr.
it's
Tom.
not having to do with the Wilson
Nothing to
Street
do with
project.
Wilson project, two
I am-
separate projects.
My bad, I am sorry.
Great.
Okay, my question is, what is the cost for the engineering fee for Monroe? What is Monroe costing us? The streets cost like $200,000 to do?
So what happens is with FP&C, or when these projects get moved into a different state entity like they are, they require engineering. They won't source it, and I believe it's a standard rate that's, I don't know what it is on this one, to be
I'm
honest with
looking
you.
at the back, it got lump sum 2638 for surveying, engineering, 25,000 budget, inspections, 96,000, not to exceed. I mean, but that's what's going to cost to do a street. It's going to cost $200,000 to do a street.
I think when they have in their contract is they have all the streets in that. I think even though
But
this
that's the
is
price to do all the streets. That's
this
to
is
do
just-
resort and.
And because you got to bore samples, they want to do all of the underground stuff, check the underlayment and all of that. That contract, I believe, is for the entire $1.5 million allocation. This is what FP&C is asking us to do because we're trying to, it's unique, and because it's kind of new to us, Mr. Paul, we're trying to start something here with these guys, and for some odd reason, we're throwing darts at the board and we're not hitting. So this is us trying to get a dart on the dartboard because
Yeah.
it's kind of a moving target.
Is this going to be?
But this is for the allocation of the whole 1.5
All the
million.
project, the
Yes,
whole
sir.
project.
So I think,
Okay.
Well, shouldn't that be,
It's back here.
Right here.
Section 7.
in section 7,
Yeah.
it says there's
And
a
then
fixed
flip to the
fee.
next page, there's a fixed engineering fee,
So
and it
it's-
gives you a breakdown of everything.
Right,
Wait.
topographic survey, but I guess the question is, and I
what?
don't see it really spelled out here, that it says this is basic service, $58,400, but I don't see where it says it's the lump sum of all the projects.
That's in the paragraph on the page above it. It says, for each task in section 2, and any other service required for this project,
wait, Jason, I'm sorry, where are you, sir?
I'm sorry, yeah, let me get to.
Here, on-
I'm in section 7 in the second paragraph. For all services outlined in section 2, blah, 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 the owner shall pay the engineer a basic lump sum of $58,400.
Right, but it's not.
But it doesn't
It doesn't
say
say that it's for
all
more than
street
Monroe
projects.
Street.
Oh, I wouldn't say that it is. I think it's for Monroe
Well,
Street.
$98,000 in
That's a lot of
inspections?
money for one street.
58.
No, the inspection, residential inspection amount,
$96,000. not to exceed.
$96,000 on page, well, they're not numbered. It's,
No,
I think
I'm seeing
it's
here,
section 7 payments.
$58,400.
Yeah, but go down, supplemental services, not to exceed 96,000, resident inspection. I don't know what resident inspection is.
Well, my question is, here,
If it's for all the projects, it should probably say what it covers. Now, maybe the project, the FP&C project number 50, MCI 24-01 is...
But it says for Monroe Street improvements.
Yeah, but that could be Monroe et al. It could be more than Monroe, but
Well, because it's
is
labeled,
this signed already?
it's not, but if we don't have it.
I think it is, huh?
Well,
That's what the resolution
this
said,
This
I
is a
thought.
resolution ratifying it.
Right, so I would
Leads
think
me to
it'd be
believe
signed
it
already.
may be signed. Signed by the mayor on
It's
April
the whole
3rd.
project, Mayor?
Because
I have no problem with it.
It is
Yeah.
the whole, I'm going to take it that it's the whole project, because it's actually, even though it's singling out Monroe
Uh-huh.
Street, it's still based under that one project number.
As long as
And
the whole
all those
project.
projects
Pulling
in that project.
Monroe out, that way they can try to allocate the money faster for Monroe.
It's pulling Monroe out of what?
Resort.
Out of Resor, okay, Monroe, it's Monroe, Resor, okay, and Alpha.
Okay.
That's the 4 streets.
So
My
we'll have to do
question
this
is-
again for each street after?
My question is, are these supplemental services and the fixed engineering fee, what does it cover? Is it just Monroe Street?
I think it only covers Monroe Street.
That's a lot of money.
Because
Yeah, it's a
section
lot of
one,
money.
section 1 is the project, and it explains it as Monroe between Soniat and Gordon.
I mean, $58,000 for fixed engineering fees, if this is a $200,000 project.
For one block.
Is not in accordance with state guidelines.
This right here, you're
Yeah,
talking about
it's for one
$200,000 out for engineering fee, right here with 96, 25, 26, 58.
Yeah, well, that is, like the
Lumps.
resident inspection, I'm not sure what they mean by that. That
Surveying,
might be their,
$26,000 out for surveying alone.
that might be their cost for inspecting the work. And if it's a $1.5 million project and you've got somebody out there, a third party, which would be Junius,
What is geotechnology engineering, $25,000
soil.
budget?
that's soil.
I understand that, but that's for one street, then you're gonna charge us $26,000 lump sum for surveying for one street? $96,000 for one street for resident inspection? That's $200,000 right there. And the streets only cost $200,000.
Yeah, and that's,
And then engineering fixed fee 50, that's $258,000 right there for, that's gotta be for the project, can't be just for one street.
I don't know, but it doesn't say it. So another question I have is, we negotiated agreement with Linfield. There were changes to their original proposal. Has this been conformed to the previous document, or is this a new document that contains the changes, the original wording, some of which we made some changes on? Does anybody know if this is a conformed document to what we signed?
I do not know.
Somebody should be here from the company to explain this to us.
Well, we can call it FP&C in Baton Rouge, and you can take your.
I mean, the
your
company
shot at that.
that we're signing for.
At the minimum, I would think that I would need a couple of changes to include the direction of the work, as far as who's directing the work. It should be the mayor directing the work. Because there's no CAO. And I would say, I'm not prepared to ratify a contract that's been signed when we don't know the full budget of it. So I would, when it's appropriate, I'll make a motion to defer.
Well, what is
I'll
the,
second that motion. I was gonna vote
wait,
against it.
can we finish talking
Yeah,
before we make a
when it's
motion?
appropriate, I'll make
Yeah,
that motion,
yeah.
but not yet.
Thank you.
We can have some more conversation.
What is the necessity of having it approved at this meeting? Is it critical? What-
FP&C to get the money moving through Baton Rouge.
Well, it's been taking this long already, what's another month?
Well, we're running out of, we really are running out of time on this. And the thing with FP&C, it's, we've been having the discussions back and forth, and I take full blame on it, even though I don't think it's our fault. We are timing out on some of this.
We're what, sir?
We're timing out on some of it, especially the sewer side of it,
when is the deadline?
end of the year.
But this isn't the
Is
sewer
that
side.
December 31st?
Yep, sewer.
Are we timing out on the street side?
So right now, what's happening in the legislature is that the legislature is, they're not, a lot of these projects were awarded through capital outlay and then got moved either into FP&C, DOA, or OCD. Well, legislature's now kind of really unhappy with that, and they want to take all the money back and then come back and re-award next capital outlay session. So if we don't get something moving here through some project, and that's what I'm trying to push for, to get something moving here,
Well, we
I'm
want-
sure we can
we want to get the
I mean,
project
we all
moving
want
as
that,
well.
but I don't-
But we need some clarification, is if this is $58,000.
Well, I'm going
for
to
the
disagree
entire-
with Councilman Asbill on that. It lists the project number. That project number is allocated to the
Can we,
1.5 million.
can we take a 5-minute
The project,
recess
the
and call?
project number is not in the agreement itself. The project number is in the resolution, which we put there. We put the project number there
Correct.
in the resolution. It's not in the agreement, the project number.
Do you have a copy of the engineering agreement?
Do we have a copy of the engineering agreement on this one?
This is it.
I thought we signed an agreement with, for like 1.2 million to do the
1.5
whole,
million.
See,
something like that, to do the whole project.
the agreement is clearly for Monroe Street. The center of page 1,
Yeah.
the project is
That's right.
Monroe Street. Can we take a 5-minute recess and call Winfield? And-
Yeah, let's call.
Because
Can we move on to the next one, maybe do that after?
we could do it
So
after.
you're taking,
We'll come back to this?
out of the 1.5 million that we signed already to do the whole project, we're taking 258,000 to do one street?
Yeah, I'm with you. Look,
That's ridiculous. 258,000
No,
to one
not for the
$200,000
engineer.
street. That's high.
is it 258,000 just for the engineering?
Just do the street. That's to do the resident inspection,
This-
Oh, yeah.
the
this-
geotech.
We'll call him in a second.
Yeah,
Just make sure we
and
ridiculous.
because it may be that the document was prepared and it says Monroe Street, but it's Monroe and others. But it may be that this is all Monroe Street, which means, Councilman, I'm not sure how you get into 250. I look at 200,000.
Well, what with the
But
58
200,000 in engineering fees for a $200,000 construction contract is,
Well, that's,
Not
there
normal.
needs to be some clarification.
yeah, we need some clarification, and maybe we'll get it.
Okay.
So I'll move to suspend the
Because
rules and put this at the end
Linfield
of the meeting.
prepared this, and hopefully they know what they quoted. And it may be that we just approve it subject to a modification on the description of the work. And then, Tim, you could get with them, sign a modification, and we're done. And
Got
we
it.
can approve it tonight.
Got it, yes, sir.
All right,
Councilman Buddy, you're 100% right. It's a little over $200,000. It's not 258.
Yeah,
It's about
still
210.
a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money.
Project.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilman Azad. We'll suspend the rules and move on to proposed resolution 2025-6. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. We
No,
have a
that's
second by
20 we
Councilman
just got
Chatelain.
off of 2025-6.
2025.
Mayor.
there's-
2025.7. I will open back for public hearing on 2025-7. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill to suspend the rules, second by Councilman Chatelain to move past and go on
I
to
gotta read
2025.
proposed, I gotta read it.
We're,
Okay.
yeah.
Got
Will
it?
you open public hearing on it?
Okay, go ahead.
Proposed resolution 2025-7, the following resolution was offered by Councilman Asbill, a resolution encouraging the city of Harahan to complete a citywide survey of non-compliant signs and promote compliance with Chapter 74 of the Harahan Code of Ordinances regarding signs.
Okay, we'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on proposed resolution 2025-7? No one coming forward. We'll close public hearing. Council discussion?
Well, I'd like to discuss, I think it's a great ordinance, a resolution, I'm sorry. We have signs all over the city, need to come down. I see them all the time, and I know maintenance has got a lot of things going on. When maintenance sees signs, they should know that on public property, they shouldn't be there. They ought to pull them down without being told by you, Mayor, or regulatory. They should pull them down automatically. But I appreciate Councilman Asbill putting this up, because we do need it, because there's signs all over the city, and they need to come down.
Yeah, so some
And I
of the signs,
appreciate you putting it up.
some of the signs are on right of way, some of the signs may be on public property but are unpermitted, and,
Right.
I mean, it start at some, I mean, I think it's cleaned up actually in the past few months, but at one point, I've had a couple complaints, it looks a little trashy, in my opinion, with some of these temporary flags and signs all over the place about cell phone repair and we're open and crawfish and snowballs and all this stuff. Let's just straighten it up.
Councilman Asbill, is it directed largely at the little signs like we used to, when we ran for office? Or
No, I think it's,
Is it people with large commercial signage It's just not permitted or out of code. Is it a mix?
It's a mixture. It's a mixture. I put a packet of pictures
Packet of
there.
pictures you put on.
I was unbiased and taking pictures, so if you see your business on there, I apologize.
I saw mine on there, I didn't appreciate it.
I saw mine on it.
And it is what it is. Clean it up, I guess. I mean,
But,
I
but
guess.
like you said, I mean,
It
the
had your
sign
name
nailed,
on it.
the sign
Oh,
on
I
the
don't know
pole.
where it is, though.
I don't know whose
It
pole,
wasn't
whose
Right,
sign
yeah,
it
no.
is. I mean, somebody
No,
put
but
a
it was,
sign
I had
there.
put it
Right.
up on the.
So I'm not saying we go
Oh,
out and cite everybody and write tickets and just
pick 'em up.
try to get compliance from the people. I mean, some of them are,
Thank you.
some of them are actually nice signs. They're just on the public right of way and they shouldn't be there.
Well, some people don't really know the law.
Yeah, no,
What
that's
we need to
right.
do, if there's a nice sign in front of their place,
Yeah,
let
ask them to
maintenance,
move
somebody
it.
go knock on the door and
That's
say,
right.
so your sign's illegally,
right.
would you please move it? You know?
Absolutely.
Just
So what
ask
am I-
them to move it first, so we go tear it down.
One of my questions was who was going to perform this? What is the mayor
The
on
city.
board with how it's
The,
going to
the
happen?
administration, yeah.
Mayor, you're good with that? You're going to have maintenance do it?
Hey,
Me and
Councilman
Mr.
Ball,
Paul,
you
me
free
and Mr.
on
Paul work
Monday?
on this every day.
I'm free on Monday between.
I'm on
3 and
Tuesday, I'm free.
Yeah.
I go around.
That's all this is about. It's, I think we have the laws in place
It's a
to
cleanup.
enforce.
You
So
do?
I would move for approval.
I'll give you a second.
So I'd like to,
And I'm not trying to create business for you, so don't.
no.
don't do it.
I got plenty. I don't need no more.
Like I say, if they go out there and they see it's illegal, go in the business, say, sir, your sign's on public right of way, would you please move it first? Give them an opportunity to move it, don't just go tear it down on them. That's
Right.
what, Mayor, I appreciate you do
I
that.
would, that's one of the things I would
Oh,
say,
yeah,
is that we
absolutely.
definitely need to contact the business owner and not just do what Jefferson Parish does, which is, confiscate the signage, give them the opportunity to have it.
Right.
At least to remove it. But also, in lieu of this, I would like to remind us, because we're all politicians, is that, we also put signs up for, political endeavors.
And there's an ordinance for that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so it should also be a reminder that those things cannot be visually impairing,
Right. And
right
there-
of ways.
And there's a time frame in
roadways.
which we have to pick them up.
Right, and,
Yeah.
yes. Whether you win or lose, you
Right.
need to pick up your
Pick up the
signs.
signs. I would move to approve.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain to approve proposed resolution 2025-7. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk?
Proposed Resolution 2025-8. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Asbill, a resolution acknowledging receipt of the sewer rate study conducted in connection with the City of Harahan's Water Sector Program Grant participation and accepting the study's findings.
Okay, anyone want to speak on proposed resolution 2025-8? Please come to the podium. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. Council discussion?
This is a resolution that I was asked to sponsor by the administration. City is part of the water sector program from this grant program from the state. As part of that, we had to do a contracted rate study. You'll see the rate study is attached, but the most important line in the rate study, and the only reason we have to just accept it and not change anything, is that no major changes to the rate structure are required, and current rates are sufficient to ensure sustainability of the sewer system's financial health.
Okay.
And the whole rate study is attached there, but that was the most important part of it, I thought, that our sewer rates are sufficient to get grant money and sustain itself.
So my comment is, I'm generally in agreement with the conclusion and the math, but I do have some questions, and I don't have to hold this up, but I'd like to.
If you have
speak-
questions about the math, don't ask me.
No,
Okay.
and some of them would require my talking to our finance director, Todd, who it didn't make it tonight. But I'm in a position where I can approve this because
Okay.
I agree with it in principle. But I think there may be a couple of changes necessary. I don't believe they would change the conclusion. So it
Okay.
doesn't put the conclusion at risk, just to clean up a couple of items and to answer some questions for me.
Gotcha.
So, Tim, who would be the contact for this? I can get it from you later. I'll get it from you later. Thank you.
The study's showing that operation and maintenance of the sewer plant is $1.9 million a year to operate the sewer plant.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I think that's
That's
to
what
operate
it's-
the entire sewer system, plant collection.
That's the line, that's the maintenance of the line too, of the,
So I would think it's all
that's not the
sewer.
sewer plant, it's the
All
whole
sewer.
line and everything.
Everything. Yep.
Should be
That's
everything.
including lift stations, that's everything,
Should
All
be
sewer system. yeah.
1.9.
in entirety.
Wow. And that's the study this company did for us?
Right, and so what happens, Mr. Paul, is when, like in a municipality, they will come to us and say, we go ask, hey, we need money to fix our sewer system. What they'll do is they'll come in and either you have provide a sewer rate study, or they'll provide one for you. And if your sewer rate study is very inadequate and they believe that the residents should be contributing more, they'll tell you before we give grant money, we think that the residents should pay their fair share.
So for us to get the grant money to be entitled to grant money, we got to show that we're paying our fair share.
As residents, yes, sir.
Okay.
And we're
All right.
basically just there.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
We're barely over the threshold.
We're barely over the
cost?
threshold.
I think we're paying a lot myself,
Sewer
but
rate study?
Yeah.
I have no idea what it costs.
Do you know what the cost was of the sewer study?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
And how are we paying for that?
I don't know.
And I think we just,
But,
I don't know.
but we're not approving a budget for the sewer study that was completed, so,
Yeah, I was just curious to
yeah,
know.
I don't know how much it costs now.
I don't remember.
I
Did the
would
state
say it
come
was
in and do
paid
this?
for out of sewer funds.
I would hope so.
I get that, but I was just curious to know what it cost us.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know exactly.
Maybe it's part of the grant program. Maybe the grant program paid
So
for
the
it.
grant program ordered this?
Yeah, because we didn't,
it's
yeah,
a
we
mandatory
didn't-
study.
we didn't pay for
We
this.
didn't do it.
And
No,
they brought them in.
The
Yep.
grant program brought the thing in and said, hey, this is what you need to do.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
So we never approved them because we never hired them.
Right, I get
Well,
it.
we wouldn't approve them anyway. This is a function for the mayor.
I know what I'm saying. He did, the city, when I say we, I mean the city
Yeah, yeah.
approved this study because the grant organization.
We didn't approve the studies, but Mr. Tom, you were the father of the rates. So just, you were the one that initially started setting rates a while back, and thank God you did.
I didn't have that power, I
Yeah,
didn't think.
thank God you did, because believe it, I think we felt like 50 cents short, but it was enough that it wasn't. But we were not over. We were a little
I
short, like
screwed about
50 cents.
I think the rates are high. I think we're paying too high rates myself.
Once we get
I
the,
think the rates are perfect to maintain a system which wasn't maintained for decades,
Right.
and it's not flush. It's generating a couple $100,000 a year, 250, according to this report, for future capital improvements.
Which is
Actually, it's for future replacement of the plant in 20 years.
yeah,
It's really not for maintenance on
Of the
the
lines.
system itself.
Yeah, the lines.
So the report just kind of says that we've got a bare amount of money for capital improvement maintenance if we don't continue to get revenue from the state.
Oh, and I think.
No,
that
And
we're-
revenue
we're
from the
highly
state would just be
improved.
lanyard.
I'm agree, yes, I agree, I kind of agree with you and Mr. Paul on this one. I think at some point, again, Mr. Paul, as we work with this last grant, with a grant that we got from the water sector program a couple years ago, when we can get all of that stuff in place, which we're very, very close on starting that project, there will be a time where the sewer rates will come down. Because if all goes well, we'll put $4,705,000 into the sewer system. And we'll get it very close to really perfect.
I mean, that should get the
I'll
sewer
probably be
plant
dead then, but what the heck.
in excellent condition, but our
Save my
substructure,
grandkids.
Well, your grandkids will be able to flush the
Never
toilet.
flushed their
So,
toilets.
Mr. Tom, in a plant, we think we're about $1 million in a plant, and we think we'll be at $1 million in a plant, and that's even overkill at some point, and then the rest will go into all of the sewer system itself.
but the rest is, we've got a plan to spend up to $5 million on, what, a half a mile on Monroe Street?
Yeah.
$5 million.
And bring the plant completely up to grade.
Yeah, but Monroe Street, Wilson Street was projected at roughly a little over $5 million, all in, for just Wilson Street. And that's a half a mile or so.
So, and that's also Lift Station 6, just so you know,
Okay,
that
my point is, we've got a lot of substructure, we've got a lot of collection pipe in the ground, that $250,000 a year doesn't really make much of a dent.
Right.
It's expensive, I mean, our system's what, 80, 90, parts of it 100 years old?
No, it was put in 1964.
The whole underground collection
Yeah,
system?
that's when it was put in. We had the septic tanks.
Well, that's good.
It's 60 years old, 61 years
My
old.
point is, we've had a lot of subsurface repairs in the last 6, 8, 12 years, a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
money.
It's old.
And we've spent a lot more than $250,000 a year doing subsurface repairs.
I agree.
To the collection system. So I don't think I hope we're flush.
Yeah.
And I hope the sewer fund builds up and can fund these repairs that we've been very blessed through the mayor's general efforts and a lot of councilmen who have gone to Baton Rouge, we've gotten a lot of money out of the state. There's no, we can't put faith in that money continuing.
Right.
So I don't think we're going to be flush, but I hope we are.
Yeah, I'm hoping. But, and again, you know, since I've been here, we've done tons of work, you know, in the sewer systems. Lift stations 9, 15, 5, and 8 are completely overhauled and brand new. This will bring in 6, which will pick up a chunk of the city. So out of the 15 lift stations, we got 4, and all the plumbing to the plant are brand new or aligned.
We've made tremendous progress, and we've done a lot of work, and the previous administration, going back 8, 10 years ago, started spending money also. So the city's pumped a lot of money
Oh, yeah.
into the sewer system, and it's fairly healthy at this point in time. It's working, but it's not inexpensive to maintain.
It's not. Yes, sir.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to approve proposed resolution 2025-8. We have a second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor to approve?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Mayor, I'd like to recognize Ralph Brandt, school board member that's came into the meeting. I'd like to recognize Ralph.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ralph, for serving us, school board. Thank you.
Okay. Proposed Resolution 2025-9. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain. A resolution of the City of Harahan committing to cover all design costs and any change orders in excess of state funding for FP&C Project 50-MC1-21-01 for the emergency sewer collection and treatment system overhaul.
Okay, anyone want to speak on proposed resolution 2025-9? We'll open for public hearing.
I'll make a motion to amend it.
Well, I will open for public hearing. All right, well, let
Amend
me,
it before we make it.
well, we'll open for, after amended, we'll open again. All right, no one coming forth, we'll close public hearing for proposed resolution 2025-9. Councilman Chatelain?
The language needs to be changed on lines 5 and 15. It should be proposed resolution 2025-9 to underline language.
Wait a minute.
We have this?
What? Line 5? Read.
And 50.
No, I'm gonna give it to you right here. To cover all designs and construction costs and any change orders. That's gonna be lines 5 and 15.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain to amend proposed ordinance 2025-9.
Read that again.
Can we have a discussion about the ordinance before we discuss changes?
It's a resolution.
I'm sorry, resolution, is that, what would be appropriate?
I say we just amend it and have a full discussion about the full thing.
Give me
what
the
I would-
amendment again, please.
It's gonna be lines 5 and 15. It says cover all designs and costs, all design costs and change orders. It should say to cover all design and construction costs and change orders.
Construction costs.
That's what lines 5 and 15.
So basically, what you're saying is the city's going to cover any excess cost over the funds we get out of the state for the projects.
And basically, that came from the state after they reviewed, let's see, the guy's name was
Half-tech.
Chris Hashtag. I got it right.
So,
Chris Hadtech
He's
said
with FP&C.
he's the one who made
With the
that
state.
recommendation to change that language.
He's the project manager.
okay, now this FP&C project number, well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, we're going to vote on it and amend it?
Open for public hearing on the
Yep, we're going to open for public hearing on proposed 2025-9 for the amendment read in by Councilman Chatelain. No one coming forth, we'll close public hearing. We're going to vote on the amendment only. All in favor?
Yeah, yeah.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. And that was a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Asbill. Okay, now we'll go to council discussion.
So what is this project, 50-MC1-21-01? Which project is this?
This is the $4,705,000 that we got.
Okay.
this year.
So this is a project that was started back in '21. Is that what the project number indicates?
Yes, sir.
I believe so, yes, it's been a while.
Oh, this is.
So
for-
basically, this is
for
the project that was
centrifuge? Is that-
approved.
Yes,
No.
this is the slab.
Well, this is everything, this is all of it. This is for the whole 4 million, right? Or is this just slab?
Just the slab.
Wait, it's covering this project. Do we have a project for a slab?
We do.
Where's the slab?
it's section 2. You got the contract right there? Because just section 2, which is the slab for
My question, what slab are we talking about?
the sewer plant.
We have a centrifugation system coming in, but we have to put a slab down. And it's-
Oh, okay.
And
Do we have
because
the
of the
centrifuge already?
technicality of the equipment, the centrifuge has to sit on it.
What's
Gotcha.
that Rolex thing in the
So-
centrifuge?
That's a compact.
So this project that we're modifying this resolution for must cover more than a slab. I mean, the state didn't give us a project number for a slab.
So this is only a section of the project.
This is phase 1. We have to have the slab to put the
You're
centrifuge
going to have a few
on.
more of these.
I'm saying, the amendment we made is not for phase 1. It's for this entire FP&C project. If you read.
I sent Chris the resolution, the whole resolution, and that was his recommendation. He just wanted that language added.
Yeah, and
But the only thing we get approval for right now is the slab, because they're trying to speed that money up through the project to get that going before the rest comes. That way they'll have the slab in place.
How big is the slab?
That's a whopper.
How big is the centrifuge? I don't remember. I mean,
I gotta tell you,
Probably because those pews.
I got an issue with just a blanket cover any and all costs of change orders and design and construction, because change orders can run and run and run and run.
well,
as
I don't
we've
have a
seen.
problem with that, Jason, because if we sign a contract, it's going to have a change order, it should have a change order provision in it, and change orders shouldn't be done until we approve them in advance. So, you know, if the
Yeah, I
project's
just don't see that
managed-
that's how it's ever worked in the past, to be honest. I don't,
Except the city's always paid for the change orders, even if they were done. So, but again, so I don't have much of a problem with us saying that we're gonna pay for any cost over what the state provides and all costs, including change orders. And that includes engineering. If we sign contracts, we're obliged to do it. If there's no contract signed, we're not obliged to pay anything.
the state's requesting this, because basically they just wanted the monkey off their back.
Yeah,
You know, I understand why
they check in a box.
I understand why they're saying it, but I also understand Councilman Asbill's in the same route. But at the end of the day, this project has to get done.
Well, we understand, I think we understand that, but we want to have cost controls on the project.
yeah,
At the same time.
at a minimum, I would suggest somewhere, and I can work on it, I would suggest somewhere that, at a minimum, the, whatever funding is needed would come from the sewer fund, at a minimum.
So
Well, Stewart
I think
and
the
state
state's not
grant.
even allowing it to go out to bid until we approve this,
You
and they
can't-
said it'll be less
No,
than
no, at a minimum,
$250,000.
any of the extra costs that we're allocating here, the blank check that we're writing here would come from the sewer fund.
Which-
minimum.
Which, can we specify that those funds will come from the state funding?
Well,
No, we could specify it comes from the sewer fund. We can't specify what the state's gonna
Change orders and construction, that comes from the city.
come from the city sewer
Right.
fund.
you know,
Right.
guys, from a legal standpoint of view, and I think Scott would concur, if the city signs a construction contract and there are cost overruns and they're approved
We pay it.
properly in advance, contractor, i.e., has got a claim
We
against
pay
us,
it.
the city's got to pay it.
Right.
Doesn't matter what this resolution says, the city's got to pay it.
Right.
So our control of cost is all on the front end on the contract with the contractor and administering the contract during the construction period of the work.
But which Councilman Asbill, I think, is trying to add into
Do we have the
here.
contract?
They won't even put out the bid until we approve this.
They're not going to give us any, apparently, the state's not going to give us the money until they get this document. And all this document says is that if there are any change orders,
They're not responsible.
they're not responsible, we are. And a change order to be effective, if our base contract is properly written, change order is not effective unless the city approves the work in advance of the work being performed, and that's contract administration.
So I think what Councilman Asbill's asking for, and I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, he's asking for us to put literature in here, language in here, saying it's gonna come from the sewer fund, and just don't think we're gonna pull it from capital or anywhere else.
What's the state going to say about that if we modify this?
They're going to reject it. I'm going to tell you that right now. Chris Halftack has been as clear as a day, saying he wants the resolution, this is exactly how he wants it written, and if we don't send it back exactly how they want it, we might as well just go ahead and tell them, allocate the $400 million to somebody else.
We don't
Councilman-
want to lose the money.
Councilman Chatelain, the two changes we made, they came from the state?
Yes.
Okay, so we're still, right now, at this moment, complying with their request to give them a
Yes, sir.
Just
resolution.
vote.
So
I'm fine with signing it the way it is, because our price controls have to be in our administration of the contract.
say that, Jason, what'd you say?
I'm ready to
I'm gonna
vote.
move to make an amendment.
If we amend this, Kerry, do we,
I'm ready to vote.
Yeah,
The way it is.
I'm ready to vote.
Construction costs and change order, I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
Move to make an amendment to add the sentence at the end of section 1 and section 2 that says, "Such cost shall be paid from the city of Harahan sewer fund."
They're not, the mayor said they're going to reject that.
I've made an amendment.
All right,
I mean,
I'm
I've made a
not
motion.
seconding it.
I've made a motion.
Can I back up? I'm
voting
I'm
against
sorry.
that.
But I'll second it.
Can we discuss the amendment?
Sure.
Why are you going to make an amendment when the mayor told you they're going to reject it?
Because I've got a problem with writing a blank check out of the city's budget, whether
Well,
it
we
be
could
general
lose $4
fund or
million
capital
on
fund.
that, so.
A question for Councilman Chatelain. Have you been in discussions with these folks also?
Just a couple, when we had met, when they first brought the centrifuge in, talked about it.
Well, the mayor's been in contact with him. He's communicated with the people. He knows what their feel
Kerry's
is.
been in contact.
we've gone back and forth with them so many times, we finally got to the point where we told them, we need you to give us exactly what you want us to say. Exactly what you want us to say.
And I
And
am,
that's what they've regurgitated back to us.
That's right.
this whole,
I mean,
this
listen.
is the $4 million, $5 million project, right?
Okay.
Just for everybody's understanding.
2021.
The city's got to fund about $1,400,000 of that project.
Right.
About, it's more than 25% because they have monies budgeted by the engineer that are not part of the reimbursement. So we come out with more than 25%. And I don't remember the exact numbers. I looked at this 2, 3, 4 months ago when we signed a contract with Linfield for Wilson Street. So the city has got to use a whole bunch of ARPA money to complete this project. We got to come out of pocket about 1.4 million, if my memory serves me correct.
And I think y'all
At the
allocated.
time, well, it's not allocated.
Well,
At the time, our finance director said the money was available, and we've spent some of it since, but it hadn't been a great deal of money. Well, I think,
If the ARPA money hasn't been used, it can't be used.
it's been encumbered.
We encumbered it. I remember we did
Wrote a
it.
contract on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did.
Why we had to sign that contract.
but
I don't know if we amended
was-
the,
We allocated money for that, signed the
We
contract.
did that the last month of the year. We allocated all that money.
I don't know.
Can
I mean, we can amend it and see what they say.
can I just ask this question? So even if we don't amend it and we approve this thing as it sits, right? It comes back to us. I mean, we as a council decide on how the funds are spent, or no? Or is somebody else deciding that for us? Is that what you're saying to me? So the state's going to come in and tell us, hey, we signed this contract, whatever goes over, you're responsible for as a city?
But that's what they're saying right here. When we
No,
sign this
and that's
right here.
exactly what will
They're
happen.
not telling us where to get the money from, they just telling us we have to pay it.
Right.
Councilman Asbill's trying to put in place to where it has to come out of the sewer fund.
Let's pay it. I'm okay with
If
paying
he
it.
don't, if
It's
he
gotta
don't
come
say
from
it's
the
gotta
sewer
come from the sewer fund, that means it
So-
comes from capital fund, whatever the council up here wants to
So-
have it come out of.
Let's just be clear. We, originally, in my discussions 4 months ago, it's come out of ARPA funds. We made some changes to ARPA funds, which put a whole bunch of money back in capital.
ARPA funds are gone.
It's got to come out of capital.
Right here.
There is not this much money in the sewer fund. In fact, one of my questions for the finance director that's not reflected in this study is, has the sewer fund paid back the general fund for the money that was
Rated,
8 years ago?
right.
So please understand, this $1.4 million, which hasn't been paid yet, about $1.4 million, $1.3 million at least, is going to come out of the capital fund, and the capital fund should have a large balance now, based upon some ordinances we passed, an ordinance we passed.
I understand everything you're saying. I'm just not comfortable writing a blank check out of the capital or the general fund.
I'm gonna second Councilman Asbill's, and I'm gonna But we can vote against it, guys. I mean,
I mean,
if he wants to amend it.
I'm fine with it, but I don't, I just want everybody to understand, or to tell me as a councilman and the public, where's that $1.4 million gonna come from? That's if there's no cost overruns. That's the engineer's estimate. It's possible that the engineer's
Well,
estimate
that-
is an estimate. We don't know.
I mean,
which-
that's got to come from capital, right? Because that's where we.
Well, it's gotta come from capital now.
That's right.
Okay.
But anything over $1.4 million,
What would you do, Jason, not spend the money? If you got
pull it from
a
the
change
sewer fund.
order for $100,000 of additional expense to complete a project, so you can close it up and you can drive on the street, would we not spend it?
no, I think I would be comfortable with spending it from the sewer
What
fund.
if the sewer fund doesn't have the money, is my
Well,
question.
then we can reassess then.
I hear you.
so.
I mean, it would require a change to the capital budget. If we go forward with this project and it comes out of capital, the council's going to approve spending so much money, it's
I think if you leave it the way it is, this large amount of money is gonna have to come to council for us to approve where the funds come from anyway.
That's what I was saying.
It
My
doesn't
only
matter if it comes
concern
from
is
capital,
screwing
wherever
with
it comes from.
We would not do this document normally. We've
So-
never done this kind of
so
document
let's-
for a contract before.
Let's move forward and let Councilman Asbill make his amendment. We vote it down and then we move forward. If that's what you feel. I mean, everybody, he's a councilman up here. He's got the rights to put it in there if he wants.
Kerry,
You've got-
are we
you've got
sure,
obligations.
are we pretty sure, and I can't say sure, but pretty fairly sure, that if we amend the language in this will be denied?
We'll just bring it back again, and we'll go start the process all over again?
My opinion,
Yes.
I don't think they're gonna care what fund it's coming from, as long as we're gonna cover the overage.
Right,
As
so,
long as we're paying the overage.
My
They're
opinion,
gonna tell us what fund we have to pay it out of.
the overage is gonna come to us and we can decide where we pay for it at that time.
And if
I
it,
mean,
and it comes to a point, in my opinion, if it comes to a point, we say it's coming from the sewer fund doesn't have the money, then we make a loan to the sewer fund and let the sewer fund pay it back again, like it's been
I'm
paying
saying-
back for the past 6
I'm saying rather than take a chance on amending the language, we get the money
Right.
as this is stated,
I understand.
and then we have to vote as a council on where the funds are coming from, correct?
Yep.
So why fool with the possibility of disregarding the,
I would be more comfortable doing it.
well, I would be too, but
If nobody else is, then we vote no.
it's
on
very
it.
difficult to deal with the
Then we move
state,
on with
and
the-
we don't want to have the thing thrown out, is what I'm saying.
I-
Why take a chance if we have to approve the funds regardless?
Yeah.
So we
No,
have a-
look, I understand what you're saying. I'm frustrated that it's brought to us now because it's urgent, but it seems that's how everything works. And we get put in a bind as a council to approve things that we don't want to approve. It happens with capital projects, it happens with equipment, it happens with state projects, and I'm not voting for something that we are told that it's urgent, because now it's got to be done when the project's been pending for 4 years.
Yes, I
That's where I'm
understand.
at.
I
That's where my
understand.
frustration is. That's where I'm putting the amendment in.
I
If
understand.
you don't like the amendment, we'll vote against it, and we'll move on.
All-
Yeah. And I'm okay with you voting no. Let's just vote no.
All I'm saying is that I feel like if the gentleman in the state said, hey, this is how this thing needs to read, then, why should we take the chance of having it thrown out and starting over?
I understand
Or
what you're
having it thrown
saying.
out and lose the money?
I understand what you're saying. I've been frustrated that if the person at the state was a gentleman, he wouldn't have waited until this month to get it done.
True, but
Move to call for the vote on the amendment.
All right, we have a motion to amend proposed ordinance 2025-9 as stated by Councilman Chatterlane to exclusively pull the money from the sewer fund.
Asbill.
I mean, Councilman Asbill, I'm sorry. We have a second by Councilman Chatterlane. All in favor on the amendment?
Yay.
Nay.
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 4 nays, 1 yay. Madam Clerk, the amendment fails.
Now, I want to make one more comment before we move on. The mayor just put a little handwritten note in front of you saying there's $1.4 million in the capital fund. I want everybody here to understand, while that money isn't dedicated to this project, it's got to be used for this project or we're going to default. So our capital fund, if the mayor's correct, is now basically, the uncommitted amount is near zero.
I disagree.
Yep. I would like to see,
The money's already coming from the ARPA to
ARPA,
match this
no.
1.4.
the mayor says Tim, you just got a balance of cash, or I'm sorry, of available capital funds.
Yeah, that's right.
1,000,004. That's our city's estimated participation in to utilize the $4 million grant. We've got to do a 25% match.
But I agree that the contract with Junius that we did last year for the 1.4 was allocated from the ARPA fund.
ARPA fund.
And then we-
Money from
then we-
ARPA fund.
No.
We still got that 1.4.
That, before we did all of that rework on December 31st or whenever it
I
was,
don't believe it was ever committed.
before we did all of that, that was committed out of the ARPA fund,
It's
right?
numbered, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like our finance director to
Yeah,
confirm
oh,
that and
yeah.
tell us what's available where,
Yep.
because it's very
No,
concerning.
I agree with that as well.
I didn't realize that the council had committed that $1 million for to this project.
That's
From the-
why the
from the
contract was
ARPA, yeah.
signed.
No.
When it was signed.
No,
You know,
no, the
And-
contract was
Yeah.
with Junius for engineering services. It wasn't for the $1 million for. The city hasn't signed a contract for $1 million for. That's our estimated match portion, and our estimated portion that will be at 100%, which is rather small, but it's a couple hundred grand. And our match portion is 25% of the 4 million, it's $1 million. So we're at $1.2 million, $1.4 million that we expect to be out of pocket if we did the Wilson Street and the cost came in as the engineer projected. Till it goes out for bid, we don't know what it's gonna cost.
okay, let me just reiterate something. Number one, we're talking about $4.8 million, is that right? So if this doesn't happen, the citizens continue to suffer, right? Nothing's going to get done. Nothing's going to come out of here
No, we
other
just
than a
voted on
loss.
this.
Let me
I'm
just
good.
finish,
Yes,
please.
sir.
Other than a loss of funds to repair what's broken and needs to be fixed. Am I correct?
You are absolutely
My
Okay,
point,
so
sir,
I understand, but what I'm saying is, based on the ARPA funds that we had matched, right, back in December, in what you're talking about, I understand, but at the same time, if we don't approve this and we don't start moving forward, the citizens continue to suffer.
No, it is approved, and we are going to move forward. I just don't want, well, maybe, apparently I'm wrong, and I hope I am, that there's $1.4 million already set aside of the ARPA funds, plus the $1.4 million in the capital account. I hope that's correct.
Kind of the way I understand it.
I'd like the finance director to confirm that, if you can ask him to do so, Tim.
We can meet with him
That's
Monday,
wonderful.
Tuesday, next week.
Yeah.
That's
I
wonderful,
mean, I'll call him with you.
and I hope that is correct.
And Jason, I also feel your frustration about all this last-minute stuff. And I don't know who's, brought
Yeah.
that like it has been every time, but I'm just going to say that, for the best interest of the citizens, I think that it would be, a non-modified version of this we knew was going to get approved would probably be the best way to go. And that's why I said nay on the, amendment.
I get it. And I will say, because also, since we're talking about finances in general, and we won't hear a report from Todd tonight, in June, I'll be putting for first reading, an ordinance on the agenda. It's a budget amendment ordinance, but it's really just so that in July, we can do a mid-year budget review. And if there are amendments, we're going to take care of that in July, hopefully.
So it's not rushed at the
So
end.
it's not rushed at the end of the year.
We should be doing that 2 or 3 times a year.
I agree, but might as well do it mid-year at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I would move to approve the original language of 2025-9.
No, it wasn't, it was not
Not-
amended.
not-
We did not amend it.
We amended the end
Not amended.
construction.
Not add
Wait, we
construction.
amended it,
And-
we amended it with the wording that the
Oh,
state
okay, I'm sorry.
wanted.
As amended, okay.
As amended.
As amended.
As amended.
There's one amendment approved, and one amendment failed.
Got it.
We amend, we're going with the construction.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's
So we're going to vote on proposed ordinance, proposed resolution 2025-9 as amended by Councilman Chatelain.
Right.
All in favor?
Yay. Yay.
Councilman, I didn't hear you, Councilman. 5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk? Yeah, I want to say something really fast. I just want to say something, just because, in case anybody's listening, the public is listening. This is the first time in this city's history that we got awarded this large amount of funding. I can tell you this, and I'm going to take the blame for it because me and my staff have been juggling with this one for some time now, and it's the rules and regulations and the bureaucracy that you have to try to navigate the waters through to try to, to hit the target. And we think we're close, we think we're there, and I'm sorry this has come up like this, but I'm happy that we got there. And we got a lot to learn. I'm always learning. I'm not perfect. And I'm learning this system as quick and fast as I can. And that's it, Madam Clerk.
Proposed,
I'd like to make a comment, too. I've probably got with hundreds of millions of dollars of contracts with FP and City. They're extremely difficult. And the way you get through that is you pick your battles. They're powerful, they know it. I think they're trying to do the right thing always, but it's a bureaucracy. And so I think our course of action is the proper course of action. I think at the end of the day, we control our destiny even as this document is written.
I agree.
And if we do our job, we, the city, then we're going to be in complete control and there'll be no surprises.
Well said, Mr. Tom.
Well said.
Madam Clerk?
Since, get on a quick soapbox real quick. I agree, FB&C has a lot of power, too much power. They're part of the administrative state that we've got going on in this country, that they shouldn't have that much power by unelected bureaucrats, because they've got no one to answer to.
Even more well said. Madam Clerk, proposed resolution 2025-10.
proposed resolution number 2025-10. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Asbill, a resolution of the City of Harahan requesting the mayor to impose a temporary moratorium on the establishment, expansion, or relocation of mechanic shops within the city limits.
Okay, anyone want to speak on proposed resolution number 2025-10? We're now open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Just one word, why?
Yeah, so this is a companion to an ordinance that's going to be introduced as well. The purpose is so that planning and zoning can maybe look at the zoning regulations and to see what types of districts they can be in, and I guess the regulations around them, so that maybe we can have a better front looking to our city rather than storing 100 cars in front of our property. Maybe require that to be behind a fence or behind a structure or something like that. It's just time to, for us to look at and the planning and zoning board to look at new regulations that would regulate mechanic shops.
Don't we have ordinances now that answer that address that issue? You have mechanic shops where you can be in C2, and you can't have cars out in the public right away. You got to have them behind fences. You can't have them on.
I don't think.
We
I
fight
think
that
those are-
every day.
I think those are common sense,
Uh-huh.
and we think they're laws, but I don't think they're actually written into the regulations.
We don't have laws. You
So-
can have cars on public property like in vacant lots and stuff like that.
No, but you can.
We dealing with it right now.
Do they have?
Well, I know
do they
we
have
are.
to
We're
have
gonna try
a
to
fence?
tighten up the laws for that.
So you're going to put up mandatory,
It's just for new
moratorium
ones.
not to have
For new ones.
new ones?
Yeah, new ones, and,
So you can do a study?
that's right.
That's what
Okay.
it is, yeah.
All right, I'll go along
Yeah.
with it. I just was wondering
That's
why.
right.
I couldn't understand why you
So
wanted to do
if you're
that.
here, you're good, we move on, and it's just new ones.
So I'm in full agreement, because I think one of the things we can do to improve Harahan and our quality of life is to improve the frontage
That's
of
right.
certain commercial establishments.
Exactly.
Well, and I'm a compliment Councilman Asbill on this
Absolutely.
ordinance. I'm a compliment him on the
Yes.
last one we
Yes.
did with the signage. I mean, it's
Yes.
basically giving us an
This is
opportunity
a
and more
resolution.
power to clean up.
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah,
so,
resolution.
so this is a resolution. If the mayor doesn't want to enforce it in the next month or so, he doesn't have to. There's a companion ordinance to go with them for next month that I would ask that we pass to make the mayor, if he doesn't want to.
Well, I'm 1,000,000% in support of this
Perfect.
resolution, and as you know, and you've been working with me through the past, 2.5 years, honestly, mechanic shops have literally been the hardest
We got
to deal
problem again
with.
with that guy down at the end of Hickory. He's parking those cars on that church
And so
lot
The
again.
Beamer?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
I'm excited, I'm actually,
That's
believe it or
not
not.
hard, Mayor. It's on the lot. All you gotta do is, you made a move once before,
Yeah.
make a move again.
Right, so if we trying to, Councilman Asbill's trying to really strengthen this up for us. It's been,
That's
they're a
good.
challenge.
That's fine.
Can we,
So-
can we, as a city council, enforce the law by having the vehicles towed from,
We have. We have.
and
If it's on
impounding the
public right away,
vehicles?
you
We
can.
have.
In
We
my
already have.
opinion, you can.
Well,
Yeah.
What was that, sir?
In my opinion, you can.
Ken?
We already have.
Yeah, you can.
But-
It's on public
but-
right away, 72-hour
I'm
tag.
about to say tag.
But not
and then
all,
you
but
can-
not all vehicles. So for example, the Bimmer shop, they've got public right of way, they've got them on lots, but some of those cars, 30 of those cars are on the front of their lot.
Right.
If they were on
Do we
public
think
right.
that's okay?
No.
Okay, so maybe we write a law that requires them to put them behind the property.
Should be behind the fence.
But I
Or behind a
would,
fence.
Right,
the fence.
behind,
It
but
should
I
be
don't,
behind the
but I
fence.
don't think there's a law on the books that says that.
but I would
Depends how
say,
you interpret the law.
I would
I
say
agree.
this.
Probably right.
I would say that in that source, if they're in parking spots, designated parking spots in front of their business, how does that play in?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and tell you right now, we fighting this, Jefferson Parish is fighting this. I call Jefferson Parish every other month about cars on other streets in Jefferson Parish, and we got the same problem. I don't know where the law stops. I'm not a lawyer.
I'm just saying,
But
I think
that's a
that,
problem that we have, and it's not here. It's through Jefferson Parish, New Orleans, it's everywhere. So
I
we
get
can
it.
put some laws in place to make it easier for us to enforce it. I'm in favor of it.
but I don't know how you impose removing all the vehicles from standard parking, approved
As
parking.
long as they don't have flat
in front of
tires.
in front of a shop.
Yeah, I mean, we write a law. I mean, there's laws.
Got to be movable.
I'm
gotta
just
be-
saying-
There's laws in places like, you
It
can't.
needs to be thorough.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
I'm saying.
exactly, yeah. At the apartments, you can't work on a car out there for a month and leave it up on blocks for a
Sure,
month,
I get
right?
it,
So
right.
it's got to be something similar
You're not
for
supposed to be able to work on
shops.
cars in front of an apartment anytime.
I agree. Yep.
mean-
Good, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, move
Just got to enforce the law. I mean, the
I have one
laws
other
are there.
question.
Got to
Yes, sir.
enforce them.
Councilman, this is open-ended. Do you want to put it 6 months or a year? I think it's open-ended.
It's till the study.
It's already 6? Good, then never mind.
All right,
That's the ordinance. The ordinance says the time limit. This is just until the ordinance takes effect.
Right. All right.
Which is hopefully next month.
So you're going to have the ordinance written to,
Ordinance is up for first.
The ordinance is more specific.
it's up here
And
tonight?
it's in your packet, yes,
Okay.
sir.
To have the planning and zoning board do a study?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Councilman Asbill on proposed resolutions no 2025-10. We have a second by Councilman Johnston. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk?
Do we need to go back to that other resolution before
Yeah,
moving on?
y'all want to take a 5-minute recess real fast? We'll go back and let me get on the phone with Hunter Winfield and Juniors.
I'll make a motion for a 5-minute recess.
We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Asbill for a 5-minute recess. You're going to call the meeting back to order? Councilman Asbill, we're going to go back to your question on,
Oh. You want me to reread it?
yep, go ahead, Madam Clerk, reread.
Okay, we're going back to proposed resolution 2025-6. The following resolution was offered by Councilman Chatelain. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Harahan approving, confirming, and ratifying the agreement with Linfield Hunter and Junius Incorporated for FP&C project number 50-MC1-24-01 for Monroe Street improvements.
Okay, we open for public hearing. Do we need to open for public hearing again, City Clerk, City Attorney? We'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on proposed resolution 2025-6? No one coming forward. We'll close public hearing. Councilman Buddy?
I'm happy with what we just said. Now, this is one I would like to propose a change.
What was the answer to?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
What was the answer?
$1,000,005. It's the entire project.
Resident inspections for the whole job.
All these costs are the engineering costs for a $1,000,005 project. Now, if the work was projected at $1,000,005, I don't know, I haven't seen any estimates by the engineer. When he did the estimate for Wilson Street, I did see that, and the 5.2 million included his engineering fees, 5.2, 5.4 million. So this is a $1.5 million grant?
No, it's the same thing coming through FP&C.
Okay, so
just
that
like
means
this.
we got to match.
We got to match it.
So if this is $1,000,005 coming from the state, then the project is probably about $2,000,001, $2 million. Again, that's money that we'll have to come up with for our match. But I'd be happy with this project is defined in section 1. I mean, the word project is used as a defined term. So what I suggest we do is make our approval subject to, in the third line of this document, first paragraph, after the project MCI MC1-24-01 for Monroe Street improvements, after the word improvements and before the period, I do an open parentheses, open quote, project with a capital P, close quote, close parentheses. So that ties the agreement into the FP&C contract. And Tim, I'd ask you if the council approves that in this, that you go back and do an amendment to the agreement with Junius and change it in their agreement.
When Halftech sent this over, just as the correct verbiage that Halftech sent over as well, or is this one that we're doing?
This is one I mean, he wants it done, but I didn't send this one.
All right, so we can go ahead, let's amend, and let's get it back, because we may be looking at it again next month.
I'd be more comfortable if we just added in that the entire agreement is contingent upon redefining the project as the FP&C number.
I'm open. I mean, what are you suggesting specifically, Councilman? I'm making the assumption that the FP, while you're thinking, I'm making the assumption.
Because the agreement's signed, and so us passing a resolution that redefines project doesn't matter to Junius, Linfield, and
Well,
Hunter.
this is an agreement with Junius.
Right,
And now, is it signed or is it not?
it is signed.
It is
Well, the
signed.
resolution says it's signed.
Then I would make correct,
Our ratification contingent upon
contingent
there be
upon this
amendment.
change being made.
Yes.
And then I'm taking on faith that this description in the first paragraph of this resolution is for the $1.5 million. Without seeing it, I'm taking it on faith.
All right, do you want to propose an amendment?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
2 years they coming back to reclose them. We can't, we are clueless ourselves, but
All right, so
stop them.
at the end of the now,
At-
so I would move to make the amendment, and this is just a proposal, we can change it. Move to make the amendment to say, for the new resolution language to read, now therefore be it resolved and ordained that the below contract signed by the mayor on April 3rd, 2025 is hereby ratified, confirmed, and adopted by the city council of the city of Harahan, contingent upon amendment of the agreement to more accurately define the project as including all of FP&C project number 50-MC1-24-01.
I'm good with that. I think that does it.
That covers you.
Okay, I'm good with it.
And then you need a little one-page amendment to the document with Linfield, Tim,
Okay, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
executed by Linfield and
You good with it? Okay.
I'm good with it.
All right. All right, so we have a motion to amend as read by Councilman Chatterling to propose ordinance 2025-6. We'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on the amendment? I mean, you went all in, bro. All right, no one coming forth, so we'll close
I'll
it.
make the amendment.
Okay. Councilman Asbill, and, I don't know, I'm trying to You're trying to give Councilman Chatelain some love over here. All right, so we have a proposed ordinance by Councilman Asbill. All in favor on the proposed amendment?
You want to open it up to the public?
I did.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. And now we'll open up the public hearing. Now we'll open up the public hearing on proposed resolution 2025-6 as amended.
Move to approve as amended.
Okay, no one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill,
Second.
second by Councilman Buddy to approve proposed resolution 2025-6 as amended. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. I'll make sure I get that amendment to you guys so y'all can review it.
Thank you, thank you.
I'll get that to Robert tomorrow.
Now you can. I think
Thank you,
that's good. I
guys.
think that's a good one. I think.
You're pretty good on the fly.
Okay, so we have no ordinances for approval. Ordinances for introduction. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill. Proposed ordinance 2025-3, an ordinance to enact Article 7? Article 7,
Right.
Chapter 46 of the Harahan Code of Ordinances to be titled Mobile Food Vendors to establish permitting, operational regulations, fees, and enforcement procedures for mobile food vendors operating within the city of Harahan. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill. Proposed ordinance 2025-4, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Article 3, Section 2-134 of the Harahan Code of Ordinances to establish the position of Deputy Municipal Clerk. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill. Proposed ordinance 2025-5, an ordinance of the City of Harahan to impose a temporary moratorium on the establishment, expansion, or relocation of mechanic shops within the city limits. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill. Proposed ordinance 2025-6, an ordinance providing that the Harahan Municipal Code be supplemented to set the amount of compensation of the municipal officer of the City of Harahan as required by Louisiana Revised Statute 33381A. No old business, new business. Number 1, Todd Turnion, we'll skip that, he's not here. New business number 2, Planning and Zoning Board appointments. We have nominee 1 was Gina Latour.
Gina left?
Yeah, she was here, she came up, she
Okay,
talked to us on recess, and,
Yeah, Gina.
She had somewhere to go.
Gina Latour was here. I gave everybody a resume.
yes.
Gina's been living in Harahan for over 30 years, and she lives on Park Avenue, and she's very interested in being on the board, and I'd appreciate if y'all would consider her. And I'd like to nominate Gina Latour for the Planning and Zoning Board.
All right, so we have a nomination by Councilman Johnson. We have a second by Councilman
I'd
Chatelain.
like to make a comment. I chatted with all 3 nominees, and I think they all have excellent resumes. They've all been here a minimum of 8 years, going back 25 years.
Okay, so we
I
have
think we're fortunate to have these folks volunteering, all 3 of them.
Agree.
Okay, so we'll open for public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy to approve Gina Latour for Planning and Zoning Board. Anyone coming forth? No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Welcome aboard, Ms. Gina.
Okay, we have nominee number 2 is Michael Santola.
You want to nominate Michael? Michael's here.
Yeah.
Michael Santori, you want to come up, Michael? Michael, I gave everybody Michael's resume. Michael's been a resident of Harahan for 8 to 10 years, and he lives on Park Avenue, too.
Wait, neighbors, that's a conflict.
Michael's very interested in being on the board, too. I'd like to nominate Michael for the board.
Mr. Michael, want to say something?
Yes, I'm thrilled to have this potential opportunity. I moved to Harahan by choice 8 years ago. It's been a wonderful fit for me and my family. I've dedicated my life to public service. I recently retired from the city of New Orleans, which now allows me to, get back into the government, if you will. I was prevented from serving on any public board due to my employment. And it's just a way to give back to the community.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work together.
Yes, we have.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. All right, so, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Welcome aboard, Mr.
Michael,
Thank you, sir. I
Thank you, Michael.
your time.
Appreciate you.
And then we,
And I think the next one is
Krista Erickson.
nominee 3 is
Jason.
Krista Exterstein.
she's not here, but last time I pulled her off, but Jason, I think you want to nominate her, but she's not here. But
Yeah, so we finally got word from her that she did want to move forward and be nominated and accept the position. She's a resident here, homeowner here, she's lived here on Harris Avenue. Her and her husband own a business right here at Ridgeline, and I think she'd be a great appointment.
Okay, we'll open for public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against Krista? No one coming for or against. We'll close public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain to appoint Krista Exerston to the Planning and Zoning Board. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Krista, welcome aboard.
So that means there's one opening remaining to recap.
Now, I think,
Anybody want it?
I think that they got a meeting coming up. Steve Villavassal's got a meeting coming up. Did you tell me May?
The Board of Adjustment.
When is that? I'm sorry, November?
No, May 27th
At the Senior
at
Center.
the Senior Center.
At
what
6
time?
o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, May 27th at the Harahan Senior Center. They got a hearing, Planning and Zoning Board, to go over what the public meeting.
Carrie,
So-
can we see about getting that on the website and on the,
Yes,
Marquee.
it's been
Marquee out front?
advertised. Yeah, I can put it on the marquee.
I'm glad you brought that advertising. Mayor, I'd ask you if possible, when we have our council meeting, if we could put it up the Monday before the council meeting, because they put it up this morning.
Yeah.
You know, I need to get it up there. I need to. The city needs to get up there on a Monday, so when people ride by, they can see that we have our council meeting that Thursday.
Mr. Paul needs it up there Monday because he forgets.
Yeah, you know, I forget. You know, I got to have it up there early, so I
We
can
got it.
remember.
Yes, sir. Not a
I can
problem.
schedule my map. you
Madam
know.
Clerk, can you make note of that? Thank you,
Yes.
Madam Clerk.
It
I
usually
think
is.
that's a good
John's
idea.
usually
I
on
think
top of it.
Councilman Chatelain should go by on Wednesday afternoon and remind
To my house and knock on my
Thursday,
door
he
and
should go
remind me.
pick you up, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk, new business number 3.
New business number 3, the 2025-2026 official journal appointment renewal.
Okay, we'll open for public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against the
We only
public
have
journal?
one, huh?
Yes,
All right, no one coming forth. We'll close.
but they
Any
require
council
us to
discussion on
approve
this?
it.
Look,
I have
Oh.
go ahead, you go first.
I just have a statement to make. At some point, we've got to, I don't know if we've got to get together with other municipalities or whatever to change the advertising requirements, because this one publication is continuing to
Rip people off.
gouge municipalities and attorneys that have to advertise in these things because they're the only game in town. We've got to, at some point, we've got to work with the legislature to get us a change on what the advertising requirements are.
Segue into my question is, what did the rates do this year?
They went up, Mr. Bud.
They high.
They went up.
Well, I mean, what, how much?
I don't know how much, but
Yeah, I
they-
have to pull the
I-
last
I
year's.
I do remember
can't
looking at
pull it.
last year's compared to this one, it went up.
$4.62 per column inch, $25 per
Affidavit upon
affidavit
request.
upon
Can
request.
I ask about
Mr.
that?
Branham, I'm happy to have you help me work on that from a parochial level too, as far as, yeah.
Well, let me ask you, is there a law or regulation about email, text message, things like that?
Yeah, there's a law in place about this.
Advertising in a newspaper is statute.
That's right,
required.
the subscribership and all that
We
good
could do
stuff.
anything else in addition to that.
But we have to do that.
We could put signs up
think
on the
honest-
highway, but Councilman
It's
Asbill
actually the
would-
same price as last year. I just pulled it. It's the same price as last year.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
But it
is.
has to be in a newspaper.
Has to be too.
Okay, all in favor?
On what?
Yay.
On what?
On
We're
On
To
what?
renew
To renew the official
Oh,
journal.
you have no choice.
Right.
Yeah.
All in favor?
That's the point.
Yeah,
5 yeas, 0 nays, Madam Clerk.
Address the council.
I'm gonna get in the newspaper business.
Okay, please state your name and address at the, address the council.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Ray Thompson. I reside at 185 McHugh Drive in Harahan. Good to be back, Eric. It's been a while.
Thank you.
I guess first I wanted to thank Councilman Asbill for the resolution on signage. I think code enforcement is very important in the city, and that's really the subject of why I'm up here to speak. I was looking at the Harahan website recently, and I like it. It's a good improvement over things we've had in the past. It looks good. I did come across one of the pages on the regulatory department, and on the bottom of that page, it gives citizens of the city the opportunity to submit code violations to the city. And I guess my first question is, I assume, Mayor, that the city has some process or procedure in following up on these things, that they do come through, for follow-up. And I'm just curious what those procedures may be and whether the persons who submit those get some report on what the outcome of their submission might be.
I do. I mean, when we have serious code violations come through, we first analyze whether it's truly code or a police matter. Chief and I have quite a bit of discussions. As a matter of fact, we discussed it today. Then it's turned over to the head of the code enforcement department. They'll go out, take a look at it, give me a full report back. And if they belong in court, we submit it to court. And whoever is submitting it, if they're asking, and then you don't do it anonymously, we'll report back to them and let them know, hey, this is what's happening. But normally, to be honest with you, I never really have to report back to them because they're already calling me before I have a chance. I mean, if it's serious enough for them to get on the website and post it, they'll call me. And we're very communicative. Yeah, so we do communicate quite a bit.
Be good enough to pass those down? You can have one if you care to.
Are we perfect? We're not perfect.
What I
We certainly try.
specifically submitted on was an obvious violation of the city code where a 9-foot fence has been installed at this residence, and the code allows for 7 foot. And there's no record of,
8. We changed.
7 is what is in Muni code.
8.
So we changed it.
Changed the law to 8.
Okay.
I think within the
Then we'll
last
make it
6
8.
months.
Okay, there's still a violation.
Correct.
And I can't find any record of it having gone before the appeals board, for approval. So there's an obvious violation that without action by the city to enforce the rules, it basically opens the door to anyone in the city putting in a 9-foot fence. So I think it takes some action by the city, something as simple as popping a line and cutting off a foot, if it's now 8 foot. Is a simple resolution, but certainly it's another thing in the city, just like signage, that should be enforced.
I can tell you, I was in here a week and a half ago, and this was the topic of discussion, and I know it's in the process. Like, I know code
That's great.
enforcement is checking into this, and my discussion was, yeah, they need to cut a foot off.
That would be easy enough. If it's now
I
8
mean,
foot,
and I'll be honest with you, I mean, whoever did this, it's a horrible job. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I'll say it. You did poor quality, I mean, you get 4 feet of board sticking up, 3.5 feet of board sticking up. They're gonna look like toothpicks and matches and everything else before you know it. I mean, they need to take a little more pride in their work as well.
it's up to the eve of the adjoining houses, obviously. It's
Yes.
kind of
So I do know
intrusive.
this is being addressed.
That's
now.
great. That's great. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
That's it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Isn't this also the property where we had the drainage issue?
Yeah, here we come now.
Yeah.
How's it going? Hey, my name is John Voce, 7612 Stoneleigh. No,
Next door.
I don't want to be here. I would much rather be watching LSU game or being at my son's practice. Yeah, they're up 3-1. So, I'm here tonight. I don't want to live next to a duplex on Stoneleigh, which is in the greatest neighborhood, in my opinion, arguably, in the greater New Orleans area. I don't know what's being done. I mean, I lived with a full dumpster in the backyard for 2 years, and I didn't complain one time. So I'm here today. I know the neighbors are very concerned about it. I feel like I'm kind of like doing this and holding them back. So the neighbors on my street are concerned. In my opinion, 2 entrances, 2 separate living spaces in Imperial Woods is a duplex. Now, we can argue about it until the cows come home, but it is a duplex, in my opinion. And I want to protect this city, and I want to protect my neighborhood. I love it. I love it here. I don't know where we are in the process. So also the elevation. I mean, I've been complaining about the elevation since August, since they did it. It's probably a good 5 inches higher than mine. They added at least 8 inches. I've never personally seen the water drain to the front to Stoneleigh. I was supposed to get a flood test. It was never performed. The side of the house has limestone. Anyone who's dealt with limestone knows it's a water diverter, it's not a drainage. So it,
Who's in charge of flood?
so I hope that code enforcement can maybe come by, talk about it. I tried to take it up with the contractor back in September. For whatever reason, he didn't want to talk to me, so I'm all about resolving this amicably, but it's, the drainage is definitely an issue.
Can we call the homeowner into court?
We can. He has to violate the law before we can.
Well, he did, he got on for a fence.
Okay, why
Yeah,
not?
he raised the elevation, so I say we call him into court immediately.
Write him up.
And look, you can do whatever you want on your property, just put up a chain wall.
Right.
Yeah, well, if the violations are clear, 9-foot fence, elevations raised, draining on your property, he can't have either one. So he needs to come to court. If they're not answering your questions, they need to go to our court. Our court will address it, and they'll issue whatever they're going to issue to the homeowner, who has to correct the problems immediately. And I have the same thing down the street from my house. I got abandoned house there forever and a day. I've been trying to get something done for 2 years. Seems like we can't get anything done. I don't know exactly why, but, they just went to court last night. Hopefully, there's a result, but,
Yeah.
we do apologize, but it needs to be handled immediately. I think.
Yeah, and another thing I'd like to say, I don't want limestone on my property.
You should not have limestone. You should have a chain wall, especially if somebody's 5 inches higher than you.
Yes.
That is required. You cannot drain on your neighbor's property. So
And I
both of those things are major conflicts of interest to any citizen in Harahan, so that needs to be addressed. And we'll address it.
And I've spent probably around $300 just to put a border
Yeah.
and keep the limestone off my property. So,
John, have you, and I'm asking, have you witnessed him draining onto your property?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it, you live there.
oh, I have a video.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Send it to me.
I've witnessed it.
I witnessed in the front, when they still had stub, before they supposedly smoothed it out. I haven't seen it since they
Well, they
cleaned it up.
dug about a 25-foot tunnel to a new bathroom, I'm guessing, and the pile of dirt was probably about this high, and they just spread it
That's when I seen it. It
on
was
the,
a mess.
on the front yard. So, and to double down, you and I have had this conversation back in 2019. The place has been a dump since 2018, since I moved in, and prior to that.
We were happy someone was doing something.
I was excited.
It didn't
But-
go the right way.
Exactly. And I personally rake leaves every single week. I've got a large amount of trees in my backyard. I fill up a garbage can or 2 every week, 30, 40 bags a year. I have never yet to see one person go over there and just rake, pick up debris. It's always just, and my friends come over, they're like, man, house is a dump. And, I mean, we're on in my opinion, the best street in the greater New Orleans area. And we've got a dump on it.
All right, well, I'll work with Councilman Ricks, we'll get them cited, get them in the court, and I'll inform you when they
I
come,
have,
when the
I
court have
have
a
2
court date.
questions before you go.
Yes, sir.
Did you say they increased the fill in their yard by 8 inches?
Oh, at least.
During the course of this project?
Yes.
Okay.
So they poured a slab on the second entrance on the right-hand side.
Facing-
And that was a good, I don't know, 4 inches. And now the dirt is level. So it's at least 4, it's probably more.
Yeah. Well, I suspect that may be a violation. If the elevation was existing before they started this renovation, I'm not sure there'd be any recourse.
So-
But if this dirt was added in reference to this renovation, then I think they need to put in a chain wall. Second question,
Yes, sir.
I know your concerns about the second entrance,
Yes, sir.
and yeah, I share your concerns. They haven't put an address on it, have they?
No.
I think to do that, they would have to come through the city. I don't think the post office would give them an address. They'd have to get it rezoned.
I don't know the exact time frame of this project, but we're looking at probably 4.5, 5, at least 4.5 years.
Well, they
Could be more.
expedited it. It's a joke.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get working on your concerns.
Thank you. You got it.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your
So
time.
I do want to say, they can have two entrances into a house. I mean, there's other issues that we've talked about with kitchens and stuff like that. But just two entrances to a house, you can have that. I mean, that's not an issue, but I understand your concerns, and we're checking into all of that stuff.
Yeah, and look, according to the internet, a duplex is two entrances and two separate living spaces. Now, we can consult the city attorney on that.
Wait, two separate, what is that?
Two separate entrances and two separate living places.
Where is the reference to the second living area coming from?
Well,
Well, if you look at the plans, it's got two kitchens. In my opinion, it has two separate living spaces. Two stairwells, two hot water heaters, two entrances, two doorbells, 3 air conditioning units.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
That's a duplex.
it's a duplex.
The house was open. There was no walling off a second unit.
Correct, but
at
that
the
can
time.
always be
Well,
added
yeah,
later.
It can be. It definitely can be.
And if you look at the electrical work and the utilities, you have 2 gas lines. It looks like a kitchen sink area with a garbage disposal and a dishwasher, electrical hookup, if you were to look at it, and then a kitchen sink-ish
are there
kinda
two
setup.
electrical meters?
No.
No, it's still a fuse box right now.
Are there two gas meters, is that?
No,
Are there two water meters?
No.
no. Now, I don't know about that, because I have 2 water meters.
Well, I
but
understand,
one
you have
of
an
They don't
irrigation.
have a garden meter.
One's for
I mean, I'm pretty
potable
sure.
and one's for
Right, right.
non-potable.
So that would be, to me, the defining moment.
And at the end of the day, they still have to get a CO, no matter what. They can't move in without a CO.
But
If we go in and we see any of these violations, and of course, I've been in this house 100 times,
The inspectors are on it. They know
Yep.
what to look for.
and we'll go in and we'll make sure, we've already warned them about it, we've talked to the contractors on it, we've warned them.
We have not issued a certificate of
No,
occupancy?
sir.
Good.
And also, in lieu of your ordinance about, mechanic shops and things of that nature, I would like to review our ordinance on blight. Because, like I said, the house down the street from me has been over 10 years abandoned. The house down the street, a little further, is now abandoned and rotting. So I think we need to take up some serious measures to stop. There's no reason that the citizens of Harahan should be subject to a house rotting next to their homes. In any regard, they should not be subject to this, or anything else. This construction period is way too long. I think we need to put an ordinance on that, too, to cap construction. Hey, if you can't finish your house in a timely frame, then you either need to do something else or move on, because
6 to 8 months, we could put something in place. 6 to 8 months, if you got an open permit, you need to come in, your permit expires, come in for a review.
and give us a timeline. And if you can't fulfill a timeline,
Well, Eric, you may know the answer to this, I don't. When a permit expires, construction permit, because it does have a timeline in it, and they come in to get a new one, they have to pay the permitting fees again?
They should.
It,
Yes, after 6 months.
yeah.
And-
I think that's already,
In Jefferson Parish, if you go over your permit, they'll come out and do an inspection and make sure you got progress, what's going on. I mean, some projects do take longer than 6
Yeah.
months,
Well, particularly High River, because they're 6 months out the year now that you can't do anything between here and now.
but this project is now 4.5 years, correct? How many times
been
have
a
they
while.
been back in?
And it's the
My-
second,
My guess is 0.
Today's-
So I'm saying that, well, let me just finish,
Oh, yes,
please. I'm saying that if you're going to bring them in every 6 months, you need to bring them in every 6 months. You need to make them accountable, because there's no reason that these residents should have to deal with this for 4.5 years. There's no reason that the residents on Colonial should have to deal with that other house, or now both houses,
57, is that what it is? Or
I believe.
57, Colonial? Yeah.
with the dumpster in front
Yeah.
for 2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years. And it's right down the street
The
from my home.
the Ackle property.
And look, I, as a councilman, can't seem to get anything done, so it's very frustrating for me as well. And if we don't enforce the law, we might as well not have any law. So if you're going to put them in a 6-month reference, then you need to make sure they get here every 6 months. And if the person in charge of that is not doing their job, they need to be held accountable. Because I'm sick of it, because there's no reason that my neighbors, your neighbors, anybody should have to deal with this blight or elongated construction project without them paying or just give up the project. I really feel like it is the most despicable part of what we deal with. And I don't think we have enough law to get it done.
So for the second time, today, a beekeeper was on the property, so I can only imagine that the bees have returned. And, that is a concern as well, because we do have kids in the area, so. But when
You
this,
talk about it, the one next to you or the one on
the
Colonial?
one next to me.
Oh, because the beekeeper's on Colonial too?
So,
No, I think that, like I said, I apologize to you as a citizen because, obviously we're not doing enough. And I think it's time to start doing enough.
yeah. Well, thank you, guys. I know y'all are busy and got a lot to do.
Thank you.
Let me just add a brief footnote to the comment about the double. Many of you know my nephew, Randy Schmidt. He built a house on Glenwood many years ago, and at the time, he built in a mother-in-law's quarters for his mother, my sister, Carol Schmidt. And the determining factor at that time in getting approval for that construction was it did not have a workable kitchen. So he does not have, and my sister does not have a workable kitchen in her mother-in-law's quarters. In this particular construction, it's my impression from drawings and plans I've seen, it is that a workable kitchen has been stubbed in on this other side for the mother-in-law. So that would be a concern should be a concern of the regulatory department, because you can always come back and put in a stove or whatever, sink, and turn it into a workable kitchen after occupancy.
It's my understanding that, and I'm not an expert on this, but it becomes a kitchen when you put a stove in it. You can have a refrigerator, you can have a second sink, you can have cabinets, you can have a countertop, but when you put the stove in it, it transfers from a second sink to a kitchen. So, and what's happened at this property is there's a gas line plumbed in.
If it's all stubbed in, yeah, then come back
so
later.
Anybody could, after the house gets occupied, call up and get Sears, or not Sears, Home Depot to send them a stove and hook it up.
Showing your age.
Yeah, well,
So I'll tell you, in
they
2005,
still sell Craftsman too, so I'm confused.
in 2005, I built a house in regulatory department here, David Cobb. I had a pool house in the backyard, and he basically told me I could have a full kitchen or a full bath. I couldn't have both. So I went with a toilet and a sink. I had a full kitchen. When he came for my final inspection, he made me get rid of the stove. Said you can't have a stove. I'm fine with whatever you say. Don't tell me I can have this or this and then change your mind. So that's basically where he drew the line on me, so I had to take the stove out.
And that may be some of the issue here, because I spoke with the contractor who was not real happy, and he said that rough-in, the gas line rough-in, was in plans that were approved. Now, I don't think the city
Well,
approving
you can
plans.
have a second gas line. It might be for a fireplace.
Well,
Can't put a kitchen in.
Well, my biggest concern is that we allow this to get fully done, and then where are we at?
I agree. It needs to be stopped.
It needs to be stopped. It needs to be stopped before it's finished, because then, what are we going to do? What are you going to do?
yeah, there's no certificate of occupancy been issued,
Well, I'm saying,
and we don't want to get in the.
you're going to get in the middle of what? If it continues to go, then it's going to be too late, and, like everything
Contractor
else.
also told me that he was going to take the.
Make a motion to
plumb line.
close public hearing.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion to close public hearing by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Asbill. Public hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, Secretary's report.
Secretary's report for April 2025, total revenues, $512,920.75. Reports.
Chief LaPree.
Not too long. All right, good evening. The statistics real quick, we'll go over those. We had 672 calls for service last month. We had 10 traffic accidents. We issued 138 citations. We had 12 patrol requests, patrol requests were done of 113. We had 758 business checks throughout the month. We had 220 traffic enforcements. We had 65 medical calls for service. We had 28 residential alarms. We had 8 stolen plates and 4 stolen vehicles hit on the flock camera system that came through the city. We had 44 total arrests. Out of those, we had 64 charges. 8 were felonies, 27 misdemeanors, 29 city charges. Fugitives, attachments, we had 30 throughout the month. We had 3 traffic charges arrests. We had 10 narcotic charges. We had 21 other misdemeanor municipal charges. We had 10 assaults. We had 1 residential burglary, 1 attempted residential burglary. We had 1 vehicle theft, 7 thefts, shoplifting of that type. We had identity thefts. We had 2 access devices found, skimmers put on a gas pump. We had 1. We had 1 bank fraud case, and we had 2 computer fraud scams, calling residents for different scams that are out there. I want to start with, I want to thank Lieutenant Drew Deacon. May 30th, he'll be retiring from the Harahan Police Department. Him and his family have an opportunity out of state, which he couldn't turn down, so he's moving out of state. But we appreciate his service and dedication to the Harahan Police Department. He's been a great asset to this department, and he'll be sorely missed. We're losing 15, 16 years of experience with him. But we wish him and his family well. It's an opportunity for him and his family to better themselves, so they are moving out of state. With that said, we are hiring an office clerk, records clerk, if anybody's interested in applying. We're looking for a records clerk. We have one of our other records clerks is retiring the end of the year. I think she's got 15, 16 years, and she's retiring. So we're looking for an office records clerk with full benefits, holidays, Monday through Friday. I think it's 8 to 4:30, the hours, and weekends, nights off.
Civil service position?
It's a civil service position, yes. If they're interested, please go on the Harahan website, draft up the application, and get online so we can get you set up for the civil service test. We have hired 2 new officers. I don't want to call them senior citizen officers, but one of them 64 and the other one I think is 55. But they're both retired from other agencies. They were sitting at home, wanted to get back into law enforcement. They'll be going back to the Refresher Academy in July with the city of Kenner. I've talked to Chief Conley. They're going to have a refresher course that they can go back through so they can get their post back active. We have 13 months to get that done. So, but they're both on the street now, and we are hiring other officers. We're probably about 5, 6 more officers short. Anybody wishing to come be a part of the Harahan Police Department, we're asking you to go online and come see us. I want to thank Tommy Wilcox and Donald Fallbacker. Last Saturday at the gym, we had the reunion of the gym. We had the dedication of the Wilcox Field. What a great turnout. We had about 300, 350 folks show up. I mean, some old timers that were there. It was good to see. We had great food, camaraderie. There's a bunch of pictures that they've posted online showing, and it was a great turnout. And we appreciated him putting that together. It took him about a year to put it together, but it was a great turnout. It was really amazing. We got a little nervous at first. We didn't know if anybody was coming, but it turned out they were there till about 5 o'clock. We are preparing for hurricane season. We're in the process of going over the plan, making sure things are in line with the high water vehicles, generators, our food service. We're meeting with that. We're also been invited to attend the City of Kenner's City of Kenner's preparedness plan, trying to do some joint ventures together, CAs. If Kenner needs our help, we'll go help them. If we need help, they're agreeing to come help us. So it's been a great partnership with Chief Conley and the City of Kenner. Slow down, please. School's almost out. I think there's another week, and the kids will be out for summer vacation. They'll be out on the streets, riding their bikes, playing, so please slow down in those neighborhoods where the kids are going to be out playing. Talking back on the vehicles that are illegally parked, and they're parked on servitude, today, the mayor mentioned, we talked today about this. We went out, the 3 vehicles that are in question, one has been cited. He did not show up at court last night. I believe there's attachments put out now for that person. The other 2 vehicles are sitting on the servitude, not on the roadway, so it's a code enforcement issue at this time. The Harahan Police Department's willing to go out and help and work with code enforcement for safety reasons, but that is a problem. Cars parked. I've been down to the end of Hickory myself, had the guy moving the cars off of that property. So it is a problem. I appreciate y'all putting that in place there. In closing, I want to address, I guess, the elephant in the room that's been out there for the last week. I got a notification today from DOTD that they're going to start doing road construction May 19th. I think they missed the deadline to get us the notification. Last week, first we knew about it, the Harahan Police Department knew about it, when we got a call that a piece of equipment was dropped off in the southbound lane at Hickory and 10th. We went out and had them move that property, and that's when we found out that there was going to be road construction going on. I called the fire department. They knew nothing about it. I called the city hall, talked to the mayor. Nobody seemed to know that all of a sudden they're just doing all this road construction. I think it's a little disrespectful from the DOTD by not notifying the city of Harahan that this traffic was going to happen. We've handled dozens of calls in the last 4 days of speeding, running stop signs on Oak. It's been a mess. I've also had Councilman Dino Banana came out to the site with me, and he couldn't believe what he was seeing either. But the traffic enforcement that is on Oak right now, we're asking you to slow down. I understand this project's going to be handled probably in the next few days. I know they started resurfacing the northbound lane today for, the southbound lane with the black tar. It's probably going to be a few more days, so bear with us. Slow down. We have issued citations on Oak. The residents are calling about the speeding, running the stop sign. The people that have received the tickets are calling, complaining that they shouldn't get a ticket because of the construction on Hickory. You shouldn't have got a ticket if you're not speeding and running the red lights, and I mean the stop signs. So we need to slow down, work together. We have the traffic signal signs out there now trying to slow people down. But I did talk to the head of the DOTD. He met Councilman Banana and I out on the job site, and we are now getting notifications. As I said, I got it this afternoon, that the project will start on the 19th. I think they'll finish on the 19th, I'm hoping. So with that said, everybody enjoy the summer coming up. It's going to be hot. Try to stay hydrated. If you see something, need something from the Harahan Police Department, call us. We'll be out to handle any issues. So with that, I appreciate it. Have a good
Chief,
night.
Can you explain to the people to call 911 instead of the police department?
Right.
And
yeah,
the reasons being, I
yeah.
just had, I called you with my
Yeah.
complaint, but
Right.
I'd just like for the citizens to know the
Right.
reason.
Well, I appreciate that. When I took office, I've been evaluating everything that's been taking place. When people have been so used to calling the headquarters, well, our people that are in dispatch, they're actually jailers. They're not call takers. They've not gone through a training course on how to take a call. I think there was a miscommunication with a plank that I got ripped on last month. When you listen to the tape, the tape played back, I think there was a miscommunication that they didn't want a police officer out, they wanted a patrol request. I think there was a miscommunication on what a patrol request is and what actually speaking to an officer. But it's only one example. By having people call 911, it's recorded, it's documented, and when it's dispatched, it goes out over the air. And if there's another officer in that area, they'll hear that call come out and not just be calling headquarters Harahan headquarters to call the unit and say, look, we got this complaint, go over there. By going through the 911 system, it goes through the Tiburon system, and there's notes telling exactly what the situation is, what's going on, and it gets a better response by not only having that one officer go, but if there's any other officers in that area coming down the highway, they can respond to myself. I actually back the guys up a lot when I'm on the street riding. If I hear a call come out, I respond to that call as a backup for the units. But you can still call. We're just trying to get people used to calling 911 because the 911 operators are trained to help in a choking situation, an emergency situation. They have a book sitting right next to their desk that gives them instructions on how to handle a particular situation. And by calling 911, the call won't be missed. And what I found was people would call into Harahan, and the guys would be on another call, and when they cleared that call, the dispatcher forgot to call and tell the officers they received another call. And by going through 911, they're going to make sure, because they have to close out that call, so they're going to make sure an officer shows up and gives them a disposition on that call that came in.
So it goes in a queue.
It goes in a queue. And anybody, any officer in the area can respond to that call in an emergency. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chief, is there some general advice? Is there a threshold in which somebody shouldn't call 911, but it might be a matter they want to discuss with the Harahan Police Department?
Well, if that's the case, you can still call Harahan and talk to the jailer, the person that off the phone,
Right.
that you'd like to speak to the administration. If you have a call and you want to talk to somebody that's not an emergency, you can call the 504-737-4800, and that actually comes into my office. That comes into my Secretary Kathleen's office. So you can call that number if you just want to set up an appointment, talk, or address anything. You can call that, but we still have the 9763 number also.
Thank you.
But we're trying to get people to call the 911 center. West Wego doesn't have an office 50 like we do. Everything goes through JP. Kenner has their own 911 center, and so does Gretna and JP. We're the only fortunate, because we have a terminal that we can log into the NCIC system and run a person's name, subject that may be wanted or something. So we're very fortunate to have that. We don't want to lose that. Matter of fact, I had to take the test today to be able to even get into it myself. So everybody has to take a test once a year to be able to get into the system. But we appreciate it. Anybody?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Councilman Asbill?
Just to follow up on what the chief said, got a couple complaints on Oak Street. I'm glad there's been enhanced enforcement out there. And for those traveling, just because it's an inconvenient doesn't mean you can break the law, follow the law. You won't get ticketed. On that note, got about a week left of school. So these children are going to be running around the streets during the summer. Please just look out for them. Don't run over them. Pay extra mind to where you're driving, because kids are going to be out for summer school soon. Thank you.
Councilman Bodie?
No report, thank you.
Councilman Chatelain?
I'm going to reiterate, as the chief said, about the call 911. I had a situation 3 weeks ago, and I mean, I couldn't even get to my phone quick enough. I mean, I couldn't even think of the city police station number anyway. So I called 911, and I'll tell you, within 4 minutes, I probably had 4 Harahan cop cars there and 2 JPs. If I would have called Harahan to get that dispatched out, it wouldn't have been that quick. And also, JPs probably wouldn't have heard it. I don't know how their system works 100%. But it basically was someone who escaped from River Oaks, was in the backyard. And I'm telling you, I followed the guy and watched him and followed him, and I'm saying 4 minutes, it was probably quicker than that. The guy got from 9th Street, 9th and Hickory, to 7th and Hickory running, and that's where the police caught him. So I compliment our police. I know it's National Appreciation Police Week. I think our police officers are doing an excellent job. Compliment the chief, and they can't do their job without everyone in here doing their job. So I compliment the whole city hall and everybody else, but thank y'all.
Councilman Johnston?
Don't recommend the average person following somebody like that. Just putting that out there.
Oh, you can stay in the back, stay in the
The crazy
back,
part is they
follow.
do. They do. They will actually call me on the phone while they are following someone and say, and I'm like, get off the phone with me and dial 911. It's crazy, but
Mayor, I know we finished the Walk of Honor, and the ceremony you had was very nice.
Thank you.
It was very good. It was well attended. It was very nice to be there. I think now we need to move on the Carlo Ferrera building. We want to put the plaque, and we want to name the building after Carlo. So if I can meet with you, I don't want to bother you tomorrow because Friday. Can we meet Monday?
Yes, sir.
And move forward? I know Brian's no longer with us, and he was handling it. So I'd meet with you Monday, and we can move forward and try to get this thing moving. Okay?
absolutely.
And that's all I have.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Ricks?
So with the advent of summer and rain, I would just ask all the citizens to please, empty buckets, tires, anything you have laying around, so we don't have a giant mosquito problem any worse than we already do. And with that, I hope that everybody has a great summer. I hope your kids are happy and healthy. And that's it. Thanks.
Okay, I'm just going to build on Councilman Ricks here a little bit. Not only do we need you to empty any buckets, waters, and tires, we need you to clean your drains. We're about to get into rainy season. We're about to get into hurricane season. It's really important because sometimes the rain comes quick. We'll get 10 inches in 15 minutes, and it's hard to move that kind of water. Even with Pump to the River, it only moves an inch the first hour and a half an inch every hour after. So please make sure you don't blow your grass into your drains. Watch other people cutting that grass, or commercial grass cutters blow grass in the drains. It is illegal. And on top of that, we'll be coming through the city shortly with vacuum trucks, with some assistance from the parish as well as our vacuum trucks, and we'll start pulling out all of the debris and drains that are in the areas that we know they flood. And also, Friday last week, we got some incredibly great news that FEMA has obligated the replacement of the fire station. And so, as Chief St. Cyr and I, when we started on this task years ago, and don't get me wrong, our end game was to get a new fire station, and maybe not one through hurricane destruction, but we're going to take that win. And sometimes it's not the win you want, it's the win you got, and take the win when you get them. But this is a good win for us. Chief St. Cyr is going to be accompanying me very shortly, and we will start working with the engineers, getting the plans together to get the new fire station built. And again, it's been obligated for a full replace, and that's pretty exciting to get the city of Harahan a brand-new fire station, along with the brand-new trucks that we were able to get them, and then along with the vehicles that they use on a day-to-day basis. Working with Chief St. Cyr has been, it's been fun working with him, and he's been a driving force into keeping me encouraged to get our fire department, not only pay scale up to speed, but get our fire department current and even maybe somewhat futuristic. So thank you for that. Thank you for everybody that believed in me and how hard we worked. I mean, the entire team worked with FEMA, countless meetings with these guys. But we got a new staff in that seems to really want to move the needle forward, and we're excited about that. Code enforcement, y'all, flat out, it sucks. It's hard. It's always one person on every block. It's a constant mission. We try to diligently stay on top of it, and we push them with everything we got. When laws are created, they're created to protect the homeowner, and sometimes it's very hard to override those laws, and as laws should be, to protect the homeowner. But when people get out of control or don't abide by the law or become very angry and are very hard combative to deal with, it certainly makes issues. And then certainly when houses go into where there's a death in a family and no immediate relative, or it goes into state delegation of who's going to decide they're going to get that property, whatever, really creates a lot of roadblocks. We pursue it every day. We try to stay on it every day. I'm not perfect, but we try. I try to stay constantly in tune with almost every street in the city to make sure that I'm paying attention, and it's been quite a challenge, but I'm excited to do it. I love the job. I love being mayor, and I wish everybody an incredible summer. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Pay bills. Bills paid in April 2025. Total expenditures, $477,524.33. No executive session. Adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn by Councilman Johnson. We have a second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor? Yay. We are adjourned.